what is it? Is Melania now embarrassed that she made a $1 billion demand on journalist and Epstein chronicler Michael Wolff back in October, asking him, demanding that he retract and apologize related to his reporting about the relationship between Melania and Epstein and Donald Trump and all of that? Because nowhere in the new federal filing that she just made, in the case in which Michael Wolff ran to court first to have a state court judge declare that he did not commit defamation or libel, she moved it, or trying to move it, to federal court. And in those federal court filings, including in the last 24 hours, she leaves out conveniently the part about the $1 billion demand on Michael Popok. Let's get into the molecular and the nitty gritty here, shall we? On the new filings. Now, this case was originally started by Michael Wolff with a filing in October in New York State Supreme Court. I practice in New York. I know all about New York State Supreme Court. That's the right place to file when you're seeking a declaratory judgment, to have a judge declare that what you did was good journalism and not libel or defamation. Of course, Melania Trump didn't like it. She's been dodging service ever since. I mean, literally, for the last 4 months, she's been dodging service. And state court judges don't like that, and federal court judges like it even less. Now, she did find a way to hire a lawyer that generally represents Donald Trump, a firm called DLA Piper, and to file a removal notice to take the case out of state court to federal court. Does she want the case in New York federal court for a reason? No. What she really wants, to be honest, is to have the judge in New York, the federal judge, transfer the case ultimately to Florida, where she has a 1 in 2 chance of having Judge Cannon assigned to the case. See, this is a Cannon two-step choreography that we're watching. Okay, so all that happened, a lot of flurry of activity back in January. Now we got some new stuff. We've got Judge Vocasil, who is a Trump-appointed, yes, there are so few Trump-appointed judges in New York, but they pulled one in Judge Vocasil. And she's already showing that she's a little bit prickly about things. I mean, I don't know why she had to, in answer to the lawyers for Michael Wolff, why she had to say, I don't need to be reminded about my obligation to determine whether this court has subject matter jurisdiction, whether this is a proper diversity jurisdiction case before I rule on the merits. I was like, all right, take it easy, Judge. I mean, they're just doing their job. You're doing apparently your job in some way. And so the fight here is over different types of jurisdiction. We call a matter that comes into federal court not about a federal statute or the Constitution, but comes in about a conflict between two people who happen to live in different states, completely different states. We call that diversity jurisdiction. Federal courts take 2 types of cases in the civil arena. We'll say civil arena. Either it's constitutional or federal statutory, makes sense, or it's a state court issue, a state law issue, but it's between 2 parties from different states, and the amount in controversy is in excess of $75,000. That is diversity. That's the first level of jurisdiction. The second level of jurisdiction is whether the court has, if it does have subject matter jurisdiction over it, the case is properly in federal court, having been removed from state court, where the judge now sits as a state court judge. Does the court have personal jurisdiction over the person in front of them? Now, she's claiming, Melania is claiming, in addition to dodging service, she's claiming no jurisdiction over me. Judge, I don't really live in New York. The bad thing that is said that I didn't happen in New York, and I live in Mar-a-Lago. Well, we'll get to the bottom of that in discovery, where she lives, where she sleeps, how much time she spends in New York at Trump Tower shopping and with girlfriends and spa days, and how much time she spends down in Florida. That is now fair game in the discovery process. Have a seat, Melania, you're about to be deposed. In addition to that, there now has to be a fight over this diversity jurisdiction issue and discovery related to it. But because Melania wants to get the upper hand now, she's filed already her motion to dismiss the case. She's not accepted service. She claims there's no jurisdiction over her. She claims that the court doesn't have personal jurisdiction over her, but they want the court to dismiss it, not just on service, but on the merits. See, I think she's waived her ability to continue to argue that she's in the wrong court. You can't use it as a sword and a shield. I don't want to be here. I'm in the wrong court. Oh, well, as long as I'm here, judge, give me affirmative relief. We call that waiver. And I think they have waived an argument and I think that's the next step for the Wolf side, that she's waived an argument that she's in the wrong court. That's one.
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popok's new law firm. It's called the Popok Firm. Michael Popok's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas, Mighty, and legal AFers who are approaching Michael Popok with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popok was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popok Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popok's firm is free. Give him a call, see if you have a case. It's thepopokfirm.com, thepopokfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popok a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popok. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in.
Secondly, they're lying to the court. They're not telling the truth. They made a big deal out of how much Michael Wolf has raised with crowdfunding for his litigation fees. $800,000, Judge. They say it twice. $800,000, Judge. But they conveniently leave out the $1 billion part of their demand. So, for instance, when you go to their motion to dismiss and you read from the actual filing by these lawyers at DLA Piper, who represent generally Donald Trump in his corporate affairs, but now representing Melania, they say on page 1, this lawsuit arises from a single October 15, 2025 pre-suit demand email sent by Mrs. Trump's Florida counsel to plaintiff, requesting the plaintiff retract and apologize for his numerous false, malicious, and defamatory statements concerning Mrs. Trump. Except when you read that email, there's a demand for $1 billion in it. I think that's the reason Michael Wolf ran to court, don't you? To talk about that lawsuit and to have a judge declare that the threatened lawsuit is inappropriate. But they don't want to talk about the $1 billion demand. So every time they mention something in their motion to dismiss, they leave out conveniently the $1 billion demand. And again, even though they make a big argument about wrong court, judge, this should be in Southern District of Florida, or it should be in federal court and it should be automatically dismissed. You can't have it both ways. You can't ask the judge to exert jurisdiction over you while you're claiming there's no jurisdiction over you. You can't ask for relief when you claim you weren't served properly with the suit. If you weren't properly served with the suit, well, then how are you moving to dismiss it? What's the grounds? What standing do you have if you haven't accepted service? Oh, it's such a mess. And you can see Judge Vocasil, who's a Trump appointee, is getting annoyed with the process. There's a simple solution. Vocasil or the magistrate judge pull everybody together, set up a briefing schedule, set up the discovery and the deposition schedule, because Melania has now subjected herself to depositions. And now you've got the lawyers for for Michael Wolf saying, we're going to file a motion for remand. Now, you don't have to file a motion for remand. You can, but you can just also fight the removal petition and move to have it quashed as improper under discovery. It's up to you procedurally what you want to do, even though the judge seems to be annoyed. I'm just learning now about the removal petition that you're filing. Oh my God, everything's high dungeon with this judge about Melania Trump. I get it. Maybe Melania Trump shouldn't try to crush the First Amendment rights and chill the expression of Michael Wolf and demand $1 billion. How about that? I'll continue to follow what happens next. It'll be around what I just told you in terms of, I would argue waiver. If I'm Michael Wolff's lawyers, I would argue that she's waived any jurisdictional argument, she's waived any service argument, that the case needs to be sent back after jurisdictional discovery and diversity discovery back to a state court judge where it belongs. And if it isn't going to be sent to a state court judge, it needs to stay in New York, because I'm worried that if it gets sent down to Florida, there's a 1 in 2 chance that it could get assigned to Judge Cannon, and then all hell will break loose. I'll continue to follow it right here on the MeidasTouch Network and Legal AF. Come over to Legal AF YouTube channel, hit that free subscribe button. Till my next report, this is Michael. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.